Tonight, we are talking to the executive producer and the star of BET Plus's hit sitcom, The Miss Pat Show. But before we do that, let's take a quick look at this clip.
I'm gonna miss you calling me 4 times a year to pay your phone bill. I know you loved us, and I love you too. And I know you did your best, but your best wasn't always good enough. Rest easy, Mama.
What the is that supposed to mean?
Welcome, Miss Pat.
Oh.
Hey, Miss Pat, how's it going?
Hey, how y'all ladies doing?
Hey.
Hey now.
Hey, Selena. Selena on
Miss
season
Pat.
3. Selena on season 3.
It's
Oh,
up.
nice.
It's up.
Well, Miss Pat, thank you for being here. You know what? It's funny because the first question is about what we were kind of talking about during the break about the whole Nia Long thing. So before we get into your show, let's just talk about it out loud on the show. What's your take on the cheating allegations involving Nia Long's fiance? What you think?
I'm 50 years old. That's Nia Long and her business. I got other problems, okay? I ain't got time to be about who Nia Long husband banging. I got my own problem, okay? I got a husband back there that about to go to sleep on me after this interview. I ain't got time for that. I mind my business in this business, okay? I don't care about nobody else's business but mine. If I saw him cheating, I wouldn't tell on him. I probably wouldn't know who he was either. I ain't got time for that. I mind my business. That's what I do. If I see y'all husband cheat, I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I mind my business. What I do. Because if I tell you, you ain't gonna believe me anyway. So I'm gonna wait till you get caught and you tell me. And I'm gonna say, oh, really?
See, this is why everyone loves you, because your sitcom is like refreshing, and you are too, because you just keep it 100. Now, what I want to ask you is that your sitcom addresses a lot of issues that in our community we just try to sweep under the rug, and you just come at it with the realness. And I want to know, what does that feel like for you? Are you involved with the writing and everything? Because like that segment with, you know, at the funeral, that was just so hilarious that, you know, you come on the scene and you are just kicking through doors, breaking down ceilings, you're doing your thing.
Well, this show is right now going into the 3rd season, and it's like 95% based off of my life. That funeral, that whole mama scene, that's the relationship I had with my mom in my real life. We just took it. Now, she didn't raise up out the casket at the funeral, because if she had, I probably slapped the hell out of her back then. But that's how I felt. You know, those are the feelings that I had when I came to my co-creator, Jordan Cooper, and we came up with the idea of, hey, let's do my mama's funeral. And, you know, so it's just based off of real life. We wanted to talk about things that TV like to sweep up under the rugs, like molestation, drugs, mental illness in the Black community, where Black people don't think they need counseling and won't go to counseling. You know, we just think we heal ourselves with a little Windex or a little turpentine. You know how we do. We eat a little white dirt. We all right. You got to be from the South to know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Oh, we know.
But, you know, you know, people, we think we can fix everything ourselves. I myself had to go to marriage counseling last year, and I didn't think it would work. But it worked for a friend, and I tried it. And I tell you, I learned so much about my husband that I said I might just need to hire me a counselor, somebody to talk to on the regular. Yeah. So we just tried to really tackle issues in the Black community that they like to sweep up under the rug. You know, and what's great about the show is I'm not a perfect mom. I'm a convicted felon. I'm a convicted felon in real life. I used to traffic cocaine, and I say that on the show. I don't cook on the show because I don't cook in real life. I mean, they always got a woman chopping vegetables. We much more than chopping celery, y'all. So in this show, you get to see the woman follow her dream instead of the woman holding the man up.
Yeah,
I love it.
Big facts. And I got to tell you, first of all, Miss Pat, I just want to thank you so much, because it was you and Tammy that called me like, girl, I need you to come do this role. And I was so happy to do the role. First of all, the role was crazy. As soon as I got there, I had to cuss everybody out, which was a new thing, to be able to curse and be like real, you know, in a real situation. That would happen in real life. You know, that's what I really love about the show, like you said. But as I tell everybody, first of all, before we get into like deep into the show, because the show is deep, like it does tackle mental illness and all kind of stuff, mental health. How did the show come about, and why did you decide to be this literal when you tell these stories? How did it all come about?
Well, I did a podcast with a guy by the name of Marc Maron. And I just did the podcast, told my story, a white guy, didn't think nothing of it. Podcast was just coming out and they were just beginning to be hot. Well, he dropped that podcast on a Monday. I had 9 interviews in Hollywood for a TV show. I was like, a TV show? So I fly out there and I had to pick somebody. I picked a studio that didn't work out. And just so happened, the guy who heard me on the podcast from Imagine, which is Ron Howard company, called me, just kept calling me. And we ended up finding Lee Daniel to bring Lee Daniel and Ron Howard together because they was already working on Empire. And it took 5 years and 3 writers to get it off the ground. But thanks to Lee Daniel, he would never let it die. Because I'm telling you, a lot of times you get one deal in Hollywood, you go about your business on that project. I literally signed 3 deals on the same sitcom. And then to get it picked up by Hulu and then they dropped it.
Wow.
But I didn't worry. I said, I never forget, they dropped it on Valentine's night. I was in Raleigh getting ready to go on stage. And I said, Lee, if it's meant to be, it'll find a home. And BET Plus is a new platform. They picked me up and I had never heard of BET Plus. I literally said, what the hell is BET Plus? And when I looked at it, they had less than 2 million subscribers. And my co-creator was like, oh my God, it's such a small platform. And I think of life like I learned life through selling drugs. I said, all you got to do is treat it like crack. If it's crack, everybody will come. 2 things you never seen a commercial for. You never seen a Waffle House commercial or a crack commercial. And both of them has outsold anything you ever bought in your life.
Well,
I got a whole bunch of other questions for you, but I'm gonna have to stick to the script. they say my questions is too real, so I'm gonna stick to what they asked me to say here. So, the Washington Post have described me, and I'm gonna make sure I quote it. They wrote that your show is unforgiving and darkly hilarious. Unforgiving and darkly hilarious. So why do you think it was important to find humor in your dark moments of your life?
I look at life like this. I can't control the past. If you can't control, I can't go back and change my past. So why am I crying over it? So I just learned to laugh at the darkest things in life. So when I can laugh at it, that means I got control of that situation. I could be sitting here crying about my kid's father shooting me in the back of the head. Oh, I was abused. Baby, I tell jokes about it. I ended up getting a Netflix special behind it. I ended up writing a book behind it. I ended up getting a TV show behind it. So I just learned to take anything that you put negative in my life and I find the funny in it. And I stand on stage every night and I tell my audience the same thing. Why are you crying about something you can't change? When Nia Long make up with this man, they're going to be laughing about this mess, but she going to put her finger in his face and I say, try me again. You might not make it out.
Okay.
But I tell you this, I have never seen your stand up. I would love to. So when you come to concert in LA, or if I call you and tell you I'm in any state that you're in, can you give me
Okay.
you can't be plus me plus. Right.
Okay. Put me in dibs.
We'll definitely come support you.
Well, hold on. I didn't hear an answer. Hi, Miss Pat. Yes or no?
Yeah, Lisa. Of course.
Okay, so Miss Pat, we know that the show, goes in. Now, have there been any scenes that you was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna get through this? Like, has there been anything that's been so hard that it really took you a moment to gather yourself for? Like, I know you talk about molestation on the show as well. So, you know what I'm saying? How was that for you?
The first season, when the finale, when me and Tammy got into a big argument. And so that was based off a person in my life that I don't have many relatives that I fool with, but it was based off a cousin that I was really close to. And for me to dig that emotion out, along with whatever Tammy was digging from, that was hard. Because, I've been working with Tammy now for 3 years. So to me, I feel like she's a sister that I never, a sister that I never had. So I've grown really close to her. And to have that argument with her and to walk away, that was very hurtful. The next one was with my kid's father. I did a whole episode about getting my winning because he done me so wrong. I remember walking off that stage that night and Jordan was crying. He's the co-creator of the show, Jordan Cooper. And he said, "Thank you for letting me tell your story." And I got in my car and I rolled home. And that was the first time in my life ever that I felt like I had won against somebody because he was 22 years old when I met him and I was 12. And then I got pregnant at 13 and gave birth at 14 and another baby at 15. So it was just hell for the next 10, 12 years that I was with him. But that night, I felt like I could close that door with that dude because my whole life I was waiting on an apology. But when I filmed that episode, I didn't need an apology. I won. I was able to say all the things that I ever wanted to say to him. Face to face.
I'm so glad that you are so open about your life because, we always see the glossy side of people that make it in Hollywood, right? We see the success story and the people with the mom and the dad at home. They took acting classes and did it the right way. But to hear this, I think so many more girls can resonate with your story and have quietly been going through what you're going through. And then they see you and they're like, that's me. They see themselves in you. That's me. I've been through that. I've been molested. I've been raped. I've been this. I've been that. And they have someone that's so real and it's not written by white producers and directors that are just, putting lyrics and lines and they're like getting jiggy with it and just stuff that we wouldn't even say anymore. But this feels very real and authentic. And I think that's why it resonates with so many people. So I'm glad that people like you, Miss Pat, you have this show and you are a voice and a success story for the girls that have gone through the same stuff that you've gone through.
Yes,
absolutely.
Well, one of the things I had to learn, and I tell people this all the time, I had to learn to love myself. I didn't love myself. I was always giving myself, because, I was a mom at 14. And so my thing I was working towards was not let my child, I had a daughter, not let my daughter get molested. I didn't want my kids to drop out of school because I dropped out of school in the 8th grade. And, nobody had ever graduated in 3 generations. So I was on a mission to break so many curses and things that was going on in my life that, I didn't love myself. That's why I was tolerating the mess I was tolerating from her daddy because all I loved was my kids and I loved him, but nobody loved me. So one day I said, who loved me? Hell, I love me. When I started to love me, child, please, it was over. Well, I grabbed them 2 babies and got on.
I know that's
now you love you, but the world is loving you. You were recently nominated for an Emmy for Outstanding Direction for a comedy series. That had to be amazing. So kudos to you.
Thank you. The first one for BET and BET Plus. That's the first time they ever been nominated.
Hello, somebody.
Got them receipts.
Okay.
Before we let you go, we got to, of course, ask you, what can the fans and what can we expect to see from you next? They are loving you in the comments right now. They want more.
Well, it's more. I'm creating more. I have an overall deal with Paramount and BET Plus. I'm looking forward to creating more. I'm looking forward to another special. I'm in the process of trying to write another book. I want to do movies and stuff, but I want to be a creator because, when you create, at least you continue to have something out there and make a little money. When people just throw you in stuff, that could be it. Look at all these people complaining about stuff they was in and didn't get paid right. Look, I am an ex-drug dealer. I like to lead. So I want to create. I always said, y'all don't let the wrong Negro in Hollywood.
Hello.
Miss Pat, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story with us and the world with your show. Make sure everybody, you go and support the Miss Pat Show on BET Plus. This woman has a story and she's authentic and transparent, and we need more of that and more of these stories. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll be right back with more Cocktails with the Queens. Thank you so much, Miss Pat.
Thank you, sweethearts. Thank you. Good to see you again, Lisa. Vivica, I was in your city yesterday.
You was